Welcome to Red Recaps. For today's video, we'll be doing a recap of the mind-blowing action movie, Savages. Sit tight and relax for a chilling ride. Now that we've gotten everything out of the way, let's get this party started. The film begins with a narration by a blonde trophy girl named O, who warns us that just because I'm telling you this doesn't mean I'm alive at the end. Best friends in Laguna Beach, in the state of California, Sean and Ben, are both marijuana farmers. Sean, a former Navy SEAL, who returned with a lot of money but no soul, is seen having sex with O, as she explains the backstory of the scene. A video from Mexican drug cartel enforcer Miguel Lado Arroyo shows many Mexican drug employees whose heads had been severed with a chainsaw, and Arroyo wants a meeting with Sean and O. Ben has finally returned home after his trip to Africa. O is there to greet him, and shortly after, a message from Arroyo confirming the location of the meeting arrives. In the background, O reveals that Ben is a graduate of the University of California, Berkeley, with degrees in both business and botany. The seeds for the plants were smuggled out of Afghanistan by Sean, and Ben is the one who cultivates the marijuana. The seeds produce a particularly powerful strain, which attracts many customers. Both Sean and Ben amass a lot of wealth. While Ben is more of an idealist, Sean is more concerned with the riskier aspects of business. Ben gives a significant amount of his time and resources to charitable causes in both Africa and Asia. They are both publicly involved with Ophelia Sage, as evidenced by the fact that Ben and O are seen engaging in sexual activity. Ben and Sean are having a conversation, and Ben has just advised Sean to negotiate a deal with the cartel, but Sean is adamantly refusing. The scenario transitioned to one in which Lado and the other members of his cartel gang attacked El Azul's attorney. While the attorney is trying to get El Azul on the phone, Lado is shooting each of his legs in succession. He informs Azul that Elena has told him that he is going to require a better lawyer in the north, and then he proceeds to shoot both the lawyer and his wife. Ben and Sean have a conversation with Dennis Kane, a crooked DEA agent who is taking bribes from them and who encourages them to become members of the cartel. Both Ben and Sean make their way to the hotel in preparation for the encounter, while Lado and Elena watch the conference through a camera that has been set up inside the room. The cartel proposes a partnership to the attendees of the meeting. The cartel wants Sean and Ben's experience and insists on a partnership, although Sean and Ben have offered to hand up their network and get out of the company altogether. They requested that the cartel allow them 48 hours to think about it, but the cartel only gave them 24 hours. Ophelia is aware that Sean and Ben are trying to escape the cartel, so they tell her that they are going to spend the next year in Indonesia, but they don't tell her why they are leaving. Later that night, O reveals to them that she has been thinking about what would happen if they were discovered in Indonesia. She continues by saying that she doesn't want to lose them because they are the only family she has and she loves them both. She tells her that she has no choice but to make her last journey to the shopping center. So Sean sends Franklin along with her to remind her of their flight and to bring her passport. She also assures them both that she will always love them. Franklin is shot by a police officer after being pulled over by the police. Ophelia is taken captive by Lado's group. Sean and Ben are informed of the kidnapping via a video call from cartel boss Elena Sanchez, who threatens to hurt Ophelia if they do not accept the collaboration with the cartel. She stated that they would bring 300 pounds to her within the next 5 hours, or they would injure O. They travel to the warehouse to get the merchandise at the given time. After that, they arrived at the location of the trade. The things are removed, but a car is left behind. And when John checks the front seat, he discovers a briefcase full of money, which is evidence that Elena paid in full for the items. They receive a phone call from Elena while they are on their way back, and she informs them that the bargain will continue and that Ophelia will be with them for a whole year. However, if they break the terms of the relationship at any point, Ophelia will suffer a horrible death. They then encounter Dennis, a DEA agent. They then have a conversation with Dennis, who informs them that Elena is in danger of losing her political ties in Mexico. They then discuss the problem with Dennis, foiling her efforts to move into the US. Dennis claims that he does not have anything on her that may be of use to them, because she has already lost the majority of her family. Dennis is stabbed in the hand by Sean, who then wants information from the DEA so that they may assault Elena. Dennis assists them in obtaining information on Elena from his workplace and then brings it to them. They interpret the information with the assistance of their employees in information technology, and their objective is to steal Elena's money in the same way that Robin Hood did. Ben calls Elena to negotiate the release of Ophelia. He offers Elena $10 million, but Elena counters with $13 million, stating that the offer is valid for only 2 weeks and is only open for a limited time. Chon and Ben launch an assault on a cartel money convoy, and with the assistance of Chon's buddies who are Navy SEALs, they are successful in killing 7 of Elena's men. When Lado got home, he and his wife were arguing, and Lado kicked his wife in the stomach. After that, his wife wanted a divorce, but Lado refused to grant her request and threatened to take their children away from her. A phone call regarding the assault comes in just as he is ready to rape the victim. After he arrives, he is given a rundown of everything that has happened up to this point. One of the other guys asked Lado what they were going to say to Elena, and he responded by saying nothing and claiming that he would handle it. Ophelia, who is being detained in deplorable conditions, requests to talk to whoever is in control, and Elena grants her request. She admits that she has trouble concentrating and that she was looking for a little something to take the edge off. And Elena suggests that she can arrange for a little something to be done for her. Ben and Chon get a message informing them that the cartel just wants Ben to be seen. When they see Ben, they ask him where he was last night and tell him that some of their men were attacked and murdered. And Ben tells them that they had nothing to do with it. Ben insists on speaking to O as confirmation that she is still alive, but they tell him that they will get back to him. As they are leaving, Alex tells them that he believes them and that they do not have the guts to rob them, but Lado disagrees with him. Alex then reminds Lado that they need to inform Elena about what happened. As a form of retribution for her outwitting him, Lado doses her with narcotics and rapes her. In the first minute and a half of the episode, Elena, who is now in the United States to visit her daughter and cope with the mounting problem, has Ophelia brought to her and asks them to wash her and offer her everything she desires. Then Elena asks Lado if everything was okay, and when he responded that it was, she smacked him and told him that she had to go to America to figure things out for herself. After apologizing and asking Elena for permission to talk to Chon and Ben, he informed Elena that he was wrong to think that the two lads were concerned about anything other than their relationship with Elena. Elena warns all 3 of them that if they don't identify the rat who betrayed them and pay back the $3 million, she will go after their families. At which time, Elena invited Ophelia to supper, at which time the 2 of them discussed themselves. Elena responded to Ophelia's question about how she got into the business by stating that she inherited the position after her husband, children, and twin sons were killed, and that her surviving son hates her because she took his power away, adding that she only did it to protect him and that her daughter is ashamed of her. Elena explains to O that there is a flaw in her love story, and that even if they do love her, it is unlikely that they will love her as much as they love themselves. Otherwise, they would not be willing to share her with another person. Elena's competitor, El Azul, is shown speaking with Lado. El Azul informs Lado that Elena is over, and that Lado has his sights set on the United States. After that, he proposes a business collaboration, which Lado gladly accepts. Chon and Ben fabricate evidence that a high-ranking member of the cartel, Alex, is working for El Azul, Elena's competitor. They fabricate proof with Dennis's assistance and then hand it over to Lado. To get a confession from Alex, Lado subjects him to torture. Following Alex's confession, Lado douses him in gasoline and orders Ben to set the fuel on fire. Ophelia is compelled to watch this unfold. Ben reveals to Chon that Elena's daughter is still alive, and the reason for this is that Alex made a last-ditch effort to save her before he passed away. After that, he advises that they abduct her and use her as a hostage to secure Ophelia's freedom. Ben and Chon offer Dennis $3 million in exchange for information regarding Elena's daughter Magda and the identity of his source within Elena's cartel. Dennis agrees to provide this information. After taking Magda hostage, they make a video call to Elena to let her know that they are now in command of the situation. They inform Elena that Ophelia will be given to her in return for her daughter, and that if she deviates from the plan, Magda will suffer a terrible death. This is done while Elena is at their mercy. In a tape that depicts the act of rape that he performed on Ophelia, Lado plays Ophelia in a tape that depicts her. She spits on his face, and he licks some of it. Then he cleans the rest of it off with her hair. while promising her that he would be in contact soon. They organize a meeting in the desert to swap Ophelia and Magda, and they place shooters from both armies in strategic positions for the event. Both armies exited the vehicle at the same time, in response to Chan's demand that they hand up O first. Elena releases Chan's captive, who then chases after her captors and convinces them to let go of Magda. Elena inquires as to who disclosed the whereabouts of her daughter, and Chan informs her that it was Lado. She tries to assassinate Lado, but he shoots her first. A gunfight breaks out, and Chan is wounded many times. Ben shoots Lado in the back, but then he shoots Lado in the neck before Ophelia finishes him off. Chan injects himself, Ophelia, and Ben with a lethal overdose so that the three of them can pass away together after Ben has suffered a deadly injury. Ophelia emerges from her nightmare, shaken but unharmed. During the actual meeting, Ben advised her to clear the room of any potential snipers. Elena's vehicle is snatched by Lado, who escapes. Dennis is the one who directs DEA officers to the crime scene. Everyone is taken into custody except for Lado and Magda. A sentence of 30 years in jail is handed down to Elena, and El Azul and Lado go on to establish a new cartel known as the Azulados. Because Ben has information that might be used to incriminate Dennis, he can identify Ben and Chan as his informants within the cartel. And as a result, Ben and Chan are freed after a few weeks. Ben, Chan, and Ophelia emigrate from the United States and settle in a shack on a beach, most likely in Indonesia. Ophelia said that they are behaving in a barbaric manner. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about the movie. If you're intrigued by this movie, you can watch it by clicking on the links below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more of our videos. Thank you for watching Red Recaps. See you in the next video.